big, leery, rear-wheel drive saloons like Jaguar's new XFR-S might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I personally happen to think they are the business. And this is one of the reasons why. Okay, the Jaguar XFR-S is not all about shredding the rear tyres in third gear at 65 miles an hour, but because you can, it really makes it a special kind of car. What are we talking about here? £80,000 the XFR-S costs, but it does have 542 bhp from its 5-litre supercharged V8. That's enough to send it to 60 miles an hour in 4.4 seconds and to a top speed limited to 186 miles an hour. So it's quick, very, very quick. But what's it like other than in a straight line? If you want to explore what a car like this can do, you really do need to come to a track. And I have to say that despite the slightly disturbing 2-ton curb weight, the XFR-S is an absolute hoot on a track. It does feel a bit big. The brakes do feel like they're being a bit taxed when you really lean on the car into a corner and ask it to stop in a big way. But you know what? It's fantastically well sorted, this thing. The steering is great. They've made all sorts of modifications to the chassis, to the steering, just to crispen everything up. They say it's 30% stiffer than the standard XFR. And on a track, you can feel that because the way it manages its weight it's just great. It really is. This one also has a new 8-speed quick shift gearbox, the same gearbox that you get in an F-Type, and that makes a big difference because there is a ratio for every occasion, and the speed of the shifts, it's very good, very, very good indeed. One thing I'm not quite sure about is the noise that the XFR-S doesn't make. I mean, you look at it and you look at the French racing blue paintwork and you look at the huge spoiler that there is at the back and you think, well, when I fire it up, my ears are going to start bleeding. But it doesn't really make that much noise. I wish it made quite a lot more noise. I mean, they're only going to make 100 of these things, so you're talking about a tiny audience of real hardcore enthusiasts. And I'm sure that those enthusiasts would want this car to make more noise than it does. The ride on the road is, at best, firm going on too stiff, I think. And when you press the dynamic button, it gets really stiff. Too stiff, I think, for a Jaguar. But I tell you what though, as a road car, the XFR-S, so long as you can live with the ride, it's a pretty wonderful thing, I tell you. I mean, it's so quick. And on a motorway, the ride is fine, it's okay. And the steering is a lot crisper than the normal XFR. Everything is just that much more focused. And I don't think the compromise is that bad. But there is one very big question that the XFRS has to answer, and that comes in the form of the E63 AMG. Let's have a go in that now. So, straight away, from the moment you climb into it, the E63 feels like a slightly more expensive, quite a lot more serious piece of kit. The whole cabin just has this focus. There are all sorts of toys to play with down here. Possibly too many toys for some people. But for those people, you just press one very simple button, the AMG button, and that just makes everything go bonkers. Or you press the AMG button in the other direction and it just calms everything down. There are a whole load of settings within those two extremes to change the personality of the E63 to whatever mood you're in. But if you really want it to be a proper track weapon, then you put it in all its most aggressive settings, and then it is magnificent. I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm just going to put my foot down. Oh, I mean that's a proper noise. Why doesn't the Jag make that noise? That sounds like there's something really angry going on beneath the bonnet, and you never quite get that in the Jag. And I want that from a 542 horsepower rear-wheel drive saloon, please. The steering is that little bit crisper than the Jags. It's not as heavy. Jaguar have put a lot of weight into the power steering and it gives it a slightly artificial feel, whereas the Mercedes just feels lovely and accurate and precise. There's a little bit more torque in the Mercedes than there is in the Jaguar, and amazingly, the Mercedes weighs about 100 kilograms less than the Jaguar. So as a result, the E63 definitely feels that little bit sharper, that little bit more potent in a straight line. So the E63 does many things fantastically, but I think this is its best party trick. The chassis in this car is just brilliant. It's got this amazing combination of proper agility. It definitely feels more agile than the Jag. And yet it's got this nimble lightness on its feet. And it rides better if you put it into comfort. And the fact that it's £7,000 cheaper completely seals it for the Mercedes in the end. The Jag's a lovely car, it really is, but I think they've got a little bit further to go yet before they can put one over a car as brilliant as the E63 AMG. I don't know, this is some kind of a benchmark. If you want a car with 4 doors and a thumping great V8 engine on it and monster performance, this is the one to have. Game over.